plan to close this conference with a summing up panel session. 5 keynote speakers are going to sum up today's conference and give their best insights and strategies about everything they taught us here today. Mr. Erik Van Stokkom, thought leader, will be moderating the panel.
Where is he? Where is he? Where's this guy? Thank you, guys. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are we doing? Oof, this took a lot. Can we do this again? Okay. Can we go back with the video, with the live streaming on YouTube? How are we doing, guys? That's what I want to hear. Say again? Kala. That's the only word I know. But there was another word, and I used it, and I really tried this. Spanakopirapita? Something like that? Exactly, and that was really nice to hear. But always on the last part, I always, I don't. But I have extreme respect for the Greek culture, and for the Greek existence, actually. And I'm happy to actually invite my fellow panelists, because I can stand here, do my thing, do my trick, do my blah, 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 but I cannot do without the content. And the content is people and who talk about, I always admire this, love, the wow factor, and especially what we always want, always in our own lives as well, is always to get the feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very proud and very happy to invite Miss Xenia on the stage to be in my panel. Are you ready, darling? Thank you very much.
Where do I sit?
You can sit wherever you want.
Okay.
Take the seat. Now, guys, this was fantastic, right? Huh? Come on. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, some call him, and now I'm doing a little bit of my Top Gear thingy. Some call him the guru of the messaging world. Some call him the shepherd of the messaging world. I just call him Jose Garcia, GTC. I know you were waiting for the stick, to drive the car, do the lap, but unfortunately it's only Jose. But anyway, somebody who was telling us and explaining to us and actually teaching us a bit more on the Omni-Channel. Told us and explained to us what the hypes are there, what's out there, what do we feel, real life customer experience. Nickos, all right. Now, not only Nickos, now the sound comes in, the music comes in, when you come to the stage, because you took a long way. But you get another applause from us. Fantastic. Who do I miss? Andreas Constantinides, please. The guy who always keeps on preaching and preaching and preaching. In every conference I see this guy, and I have him on my panel. I'm proud to have you here. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be on your and Apostolis. And then Yuboto. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, please, we all think we are critical, right? In our lives, we think about, we need to be more critical, right? Am I right? Absolutely. That we think is something important. We think it's needed. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think it is. But there is only one guy in this room here who can tell us that whatever these people there, those beautiful people who are talking and not listening, thank you so much, they say, they do their pitch, they tell us what they think it will be and whatever. But there's only one guy here, and you saw him this morning, who can tell us if it's really true. Because he is the analyst. And the analyst, prior and even afterwards, they tell us if we were sort of right. Because whatever he preaches and he tells us, we copy-paste, we put it in a presentation, RCS, blah, and these and whatever. But he also is honest enough to tell us what it brought. So we don't know what it will bring, RCS, but we do know that he and Mobilesquared, together with Nick, his partner, made some analysis, made some data analysis as far as possible on RCS. Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin, come hither. So, what are we going to talk about, guys? Okay.
You choose the topic.
I need to speak because I'm getting old, you know. I have to do this in the morning. Longer and longer and longer. Jose, a question for you. Talking about love, talking about feedback, and talking about the wow factor. You know, and please don't ever interrupt me again. I'm just kidding. Dominance. What can you tell me about it? We don't want to have your personal story. We don't, right? We don't want to hear. But we want to hear in the messaging world. What is it all about? What can you tell us about it?
Dominance?
About real dominance.
In the business messaging
in
space.
In our business environment, yes. Tell us. What do you think of it?
Well, I mean, I would go back in history again.
The ancient Greek.
Yeah.
He is the guy on being ancient Greek, right?
No, I mean, just think back, you know, when we made our first experience with messages we were receiving. And I'm speaking now about the telco area. So if we think about the first emails, about the first text we were receiving, I think a lot of the success was related to the fascination that we felt for it. You know, it was fascinating to have a mobile device in your hand. It was fascinating to speak with it, and it was even more fascinating to speak and to receive a text. It was fascinating the first time you had a home computer in your living room or in your office, and even more fascinating the first time you received an email by it. And why was it fascinating? Obviously, there is the technology component. On the other side, not only fascination, you have the convenience. I mean, if you compare it to receiving a call, to receiving a post letter, it was very convenient to have a number of messages waiting for you and to call them up whenever it's convenient for you and to respond whenever it's convenient for you. So this has been a positive experience from the technology point of view and also from the convenience point of view. Now we can actually reflect that also in business messaging, A2P, B2C, however you want to call it. You know, if you compare receiving a message on your phone, and we love the phones, we're addicted. You know, compare that to receive a call from a help desk, from a company that wants to sell something, extremely disruptive. Compare that to receiving a letter that is just not very convenient, especially when it comes to respond to it. So I think the convenience has been a major driver on A2P messaging. And if we look now on the other side, because we have always the user's perspective, this is the one that I have been covering so far. You look also into the enterprise perspective. Yeah, it was like a very positive experience to have such a cost-effective channel suddenly to get in touch with your customers. And you had a very efficient delivery. So efficient delivery, cost effectiveness have been surely important drivers, you know, for the business dominance, as you will express it, of A2P. Today, I think the fact that we're so fascinating about the mobile device and so addicted to the mobile device opens up, you know, a wonderful platform to use many, many channels. And I think this explains it, you know. That's my
Andreas,
perspective.
thank you, Jose. Andreas, your pitch on this one.
Well, can you please rephrase the question?
Well, you know, the business message dominance. and the importance of it.
Okay. So the people there attract to messages, okay, for many reasons. Because they're starting by their own experience, talking with their friends, but somehow this, it was meant to be a tool in order for them to receive news and things. So, as we saw also from the research that we did with our customers, we realized that the efficiency of the SMS is the number one factor, you know, for the customers, for the brands, and for the customers. And well, at the other hand, you know, many people believe and many people think that the SMS is dead. You know, we faced that in our industry since a year ago. Even in Greece, the people, they believe that there is no messaging anymore because we talk in the other applications. But as you can see, you know, the dominance is there because it's growing, and the whole OTT thing is going to raise the whole thing up.
Okay, okay. Jose, interesting. You were talking about user experience. User experience. Yeah. But Xenia, question for you. Talking about feedback, talking about user experience, what can you give us, let's say, an example or whatever we need to use as a service or a tool to increase, to maintain, but also to increase the customer experience?
I think that does it work? It works. Okay. I think that there are two aspects that we need to consider. The one is why are consumers on their mobile and in their different apps?
Because we are addicted.
Or in their different social. Because I've been asked the same question, what do brands do with the social? And I say that, well, first, consumers are there to communicate with their friends, to speak with each other, to upload photographs of how happy they are with their daughter who just got a diploma. And in the applications, people are there to communicate, and to communicate free of charge with messaging, iMessage, or Viber, or WhatsApp. They are not there to receive advertisements. Let's look first at why they are there. Okay. The same way that consumers are in the streets to commute. They are not there to see the billboards. Now they happen to see them. Okay. But it's not their purpose. It's not the purpose. Okay. So we have to consider that. The second thing is that now I think that with all these applications, we have started a miscommunication with our friends as well. Because on my phone, I have my corporate mail, I have my personal email, I have my SMS, I have my Viber, and I have my WhatsApp. 5. 5. So, my daughter tells me, Mama, I sent you a message. And I don't know where. I didn't see it. When I hear message, I mean a message, an SMS. Now she means messenger. Oh, that I forgot. Messenger as well.
We heard this before.
So, how can brands decomplicate that? How can, if somebody technically could decomplicate that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is all I want.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You want to get into that, Nickos? Maybe you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I really love the way Xenia pointed out the consumer perspective, and this is reality because we, as businesses, we want to sell products and things, and we really often forget the consumer. Actually, I think that the only way to unlock it, to decomplicate it, it's creativity. We have to be creative. So, in order to interrupt the conversation, and I see you over the last 10 minutes how the eyes are on you, and you do it very creatively. Very creatively.
Look at them, not at me. Look at them, man.
So you grab the attention through creativity, through lively conversation, the same the brand should do with the consumer. I think this is the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gavin?
Yeah, if there's one word that we haven't sort of mentioned yet, which is, I think, pertinent both to the idea of business messaging dominance and also this customer experience and satisfaction, that's trust. So there's a lot of trust placed between me as a consumer and you as a brand, or me as a consumer and the mobile operator. So mobile operators are one of the most trusted organizations out there. You trust them to make sure that you don't get viruses on your phone, that you don't get lots of spam. They're trusted more than your broadband provider. They may be trusted more than your
bank, actually.
More than your phone manufacturer, whatever. So you have this trust. And then as a brand, I've opted in to you and what you do. And I want to hear from you. So there's a level of trust there. And you have to keep that going, because on my phone, in my contacts next to my wife or my husband and my children, my friends and my colleagues, you're sitting there as well now. You're part of my world, so we need to trust each other, and there needs to be that engagement. And I think that's true of the experience as well. You need to make sure that trust isn't abused, so you don't send me irrelevant information, that I do find it useful.
Okay, thank you. Xenia, you were quickly pinching actually on a nice topic, and I want Gavin for you to start answering that, and then later maybe the rest. Young people, I heard just brands. I didn't hear the word strategy yet, but I'll come to that question, including the strategy. Gavin, millennials, I hate that word actually, millennials, because it makes me feel old. Do somebody share that same feeling with me? No? Thank you. No. You're still 10 years younger than I am. 10 years younger than I am, Apostolis. But Gavin, millennials, they are addicted to their devices, to their smartphones, to to their watches, actually. Okay? Now, on the marketing side, brands, how should they strategize that? How should they reach out to the millennials? Because they use the phone. I mean, you talked about 3.5 hours on average. And thank you very much for saying that's between 16 and 75. And also for the group of 55 to 75. Next year I'm 55. So please, can you move that to 60 years? Because it makes me feel better, actually. That was a joke, guys. That was a joke. Come on, wake up. You can do this. So, Gavin, coming back to the question. How can brands strategize, actually, the millennials, or and to make sure they will reach out to them, fetch them, get them, and in actual fact, on marketing side, embrace them? What to do? What should they do?
Thanks very much indeed for that question. Because I'm not a marketing specialist. My marketing director will tell you that, and I'm not a millennial. But I'm closer to being a millennial than I'm a marketing strategist. So we'll go with this. I'll tell you what I think as a user with children who are almost millennials. And I think the question is not how do you communicate and what is your strategy to engage with millennials. It's, although they might be a very nice target audience, it's how do you engage with your customers, whoever they are. Because if you concentrate on the millennials, then as Jose was saying earlier in his presentation, what about Generation Z? These people have moved on from how you're looking now to communicate, how you're moving away from email into mobile, how you're moving from SMS mobile to rich communications, be it via Viber or WhatsApp or rich CS services, RCS services when they come along. And then the next generation are already doing something else. So I think, as a customer, if I walk into your shop front, and there's so many shop fronts out there, it's, okay, well, how do you keep me engaged? And how do you keep me loyal? So it comes back to this idea again of, well, okay, relevant. So what I'm seeing from you needs to be relevant. It needs to be useful. It needs to be in a format or in a function that I want to hear from you in. Be that a carrier pigeon, be it a phone call, be it SMS, be it Viber, be it whatever. So it's staying abreast of what's happening and staying abreast of what your customers are doing and what they want, and engage with them and be proactive. Because if you don't do anything, neither will they. So, be proactive, push things out there, create a community, get good customer service.
And get the feedback, right? Xenia, please.
Yes, and that's great. And I have to add a little something. I think it has to do with the attitude. I think especially the young people are very suspicious of whether you have to sell them something. We've also talked about sales trainings with Andreas. No, a salesperson is not somebody who wants to convince you that you need to buy something that you originally don't want. So at the end of the day, communication does not have to be pushy, and the intention does not have to be pushy. You can always say that, look, I've created this, and I like it very much, and I show it to you. And if you like it, you can have it. This is number one, not pushing. And the second one is honesty. It has to do with the trust that you were talking before. Maybe this does not bring sales the other day.
But it will bring the relationship.
But it brings a relationship and a long-term loyal one.
And back then, that's trust. Coming back to that point. Andreas, what do you think of it?
Well, concerning the millennials,
yeah.
I think that the most important thing, no matter if you're dealing with millennials or with people that they need to have glasses in order to read the letters, they're all users and they're all potential customers. I think the most important thing is the valuable thing, the valuable text, the valuable content. Mm-hmm. For the millennials, it has to be fun, maybe, it has to be easy. You know, for people in my age, it has to be more efficient, maybe. Okay? But I think that this is the most important thing. The content, it's the key in order to grab the people, no matter if they're millennial or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Bridging this to real-life experience, because that's actually what you're talking about. You need to make sure that your message has actually a high experience. If it's millennials, if it's whatever. But I'm pointing actually on the millennials because they will be our biggest market.
What?
They will be our biggest market.
Yeah, of course they will.
Right? I mean, on average 3.5 hours a day, but that's probably for the old guys and the old ladies. But they will be on their phones now 8 hours on average a day.
Connected. We are talking about the active engagement.
Yes. Okay.
Because if we talk about the glass generation, the Zers, the younger ones, they are constantly connected. Mm-hmm. 24/7.
They don't want to miss anything.
No.
They are afraid. I mean, we actually made a market where they are afraid to miss any information, any news, any picture, because they want to be the first one to talk about it and send another message or to comment on this one, right? That's what we're doing. So, talking about the customer experience, Nickos, tell me, what are the core benefits of Omni-Channel strategy? Why and when should it actually be deployed?
Okay. First of all, Omnichannel is a buzzword over the past 5 years, but actually it's a response to the consumer. So it's not a retail model. It's actually a response to 24/7 consumer. So the question, if we should do it, is of course yes, we should do it, because this is the consumer. So in terms of benefits, there are two benefits. The first is the top line sales, and the second is bottom line sales. And let me give you two examples. There are many researches that say that an omni-channel consumer, I mean a consumer that buys from different channels from the same company, has a bigger lifetime value versus a single channel consumer. So if I convince you to buy from online and offline and chat and feel the whole experience, I know that your spending is higher, and we see it also in our numbers, because we segment the 4-channel consumers, 3-channel consumers versus the single-channel consumers. And they spend more. So this is the first one. The second one is the Omni-Channel has operational synergies. For example, if I want to send stock to the consumer, and the shoe is at a store like Peristeri, and the consumer is at Petroupoli or Ilion or Kifiskia, it's much more quicker and cheaper for me to send it from there done from the warehouse.
Okay.
So there are many operational models that makes retail more efficient when you apply omnichannel strategies both in operations and logistics. So these are two examples to convince you about the omnichannel stuff.
Okay. Gavin? What do you think? Is he right?
Yeah, and it's a very interesting point, actually, because the amount of brands that I know, almost personally, who have gone down a sort of mobile route into e-commerce and whatever, and they haven't connected a product directory with a CRM. And it's thinking, well, why ever not? Why wouldn't you do that? So it's very interesting to hear that. And I think also, what are the core benefits of Omnichannel? It's Omnichannel. That's the core benefit. You're not focusing on a single user group on a single platform. You can address your entire base. Now, it might become very difficult for you and problematic for you, but it's something that you should at least try and look to do. But then when you do that, make sure that your CRM and your product directory are integrated.
Okay. Jose?
I mean, one recommendation that I give to enterprises, first of all, even you might not be ready for Omnichannel, and most enterprises today are not ready for Omnichannel. You should start collecting data, customer data, because the day will come where you will make very effective use of it. This is one thing. The other thing is, don't try, to be on all channels if you're not prepared for it. Most enterprises are not prepared to it. If you launch one channel, a second channel, make sure that you do this channel very good. Yeah? And when you feel self-confident enough, you open up the next channel. Yeah? Step by step. Don't try to get everything at the same time, because you might get lost, and the customer ultimately will feel it.
And so don't make the classical mistake.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, Xenia?
I think that we need omnichannel because consumers are omnichannel. And if I want to, if I see a lovely dress and I want to wear it tonight, and you can satisfy this need, you have a sale. I mean, this is, you have a sale. And we've done some group discussions, focus groups with the women and shopping and why what they do when they shop online and how they compare the online and offline shopping.
Did you succeed to understand them? Because normally, even if they shop in normal shops, I don't understand this. So, what was the feedback?
The feedback is that they like both, but they cover different needs. They love the trying on of the clothes. I don't know, girls, if you don't like trying on the clothes.
Let's talk about shoes. Let's talk about shoes.
Well, shoes is even more difficult, but still, it's whether you want to wait until you wear them. Okay, this is a big thing. It's nice to take the shopping bag with you and go. They like that.
Especially if it's
but
a nice brand.
You can use the online shop for browsing, and then you can use the offline shop for trying on, and you buy wherever you find the price better. And depending on how quickly you want the garment. At least this is for clothes and shoes. Cosmetics work differently.
Okay.
You can wait.
Okay. Cool. Andreas, I heard this morning and this afternoon about something which is, or I heard it literally, the Holy Grail. Or
Talking about us, yes, I suppose.
I don't know. But can you share with us maybe a secret, an insight, or best practice in your area of expertise that could actually skyrocket the conversation of the mobile user?
Well, talking about conversion.
Conversion, sorry.
Yeah, well, not with us, yes, okay. Well, I have to say the same thing again. The respectable content of the message in any channel, it's the most precious and sensitive key in order for somebody to stand up and to go to have the actions. And, also in Europe, but in Greece, there are people, the marketing, they are fooling the people. I mean, I saw recently on the television, let's say, it was some biscuits, I'm not going to say the name, we are online, with the streaming, and I said, you buy this and open it cost about €3. Buy this, open the cup, and then put the code into the platform or send it by SMS, and you are going to win 3 bikes. I mean, come on, you pay money in the television in order to tell me as a consumer that maybe I'm going to win one of the 3 bikes. I mean, it's very important to respect your customer, and if you respect then the message you are going to send through SMS or through television or whatever, it's strong enough to make him have an action. It's a respectful behavior and communication. No matter the Omni, it's not Omni. It's the 360 communication with the customer. I mean, it's integrated ultimate communication. This is it. But at the end of the day, the message has the value, the content of the message. So if you want to have high conversion, you have to respect.
We all agree on this one.
Yeah, but they don't do it.
I want to drag it out. I want to have answers.
Yeah, such as?
Success. Best practice.
Best practice. I can say for Apokukuchu PET again,
I
well,
totally agree with that.
Best practice. High discounts.
Yeah.
1-on-1. If we're talking about SMS and this kind of stuff. If you say come and buy 1 for free, they will come. They will come to see, and after that you'll see, or take them online in order to buy. High discounts, valuable information, advices, piece of advice. These are best practices that they bring a lot of conversion, and at the end of the day, money at the cashier of the company.
Okay, do you agree?
As a consumers, do you agree?
We are all consumers. Do we agree?
You don't.
You have a question?
His competitor, his question, it doesn't count. Wait.
We can clap our hands for Andreas Constantinides.
Although that you are competitor,
he's doing my job.
We are going to give you the microphone because you are good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, my name is Nicholas Kourtoglou. I'm from SciTech.
Welcome and good to have you.
I totally agree with Andreas. We know each other for a long time. I also want to add something that I have already said, and Cosmos Sport already does it. It's a personalization. Sending me, for example, 50% discount on cosmetics. Yeah, it's a good discount, but it doesn't fit me.
Depending on your age, trust me, I know.
Okay.
That was not funny, by the way, because I need to. What's for you? Good.
It's.
Yeah. Please continue.
So I totally agree with Andreas, but I also, believe that content and personalization. If you want to take it to the next step, you have to know who your customers are and target them, differently. I think these together, give a lot of points towards success.
I 90% agree with you. You're right. Statistically, you're completely correct, even politically correct.
Thank you.
But that we need to give it attention, that we need to do something. But what do we need to do? Do you know this? I'm just asking. I mean, I'm not asking about the Holy Grail, because otherwise you will be rich already.
I wouldn't be here.
Me neither, by the way. So, but do you know? Does anybody else know? What do we need to do? In addition to what these lovely 2 gentlemen told me? Do we know? Do we know? I asked my panel. Gavin, what should we do?
Yeah. What should we do? So let's presume that we have this ideal situation where you as brands know exactly how you want to communicate and what you want to communicate. Let's presume it's all personalised, so you're not getting makeup, ads and anything else that you don't want. Let's presume that you have a partner who can do that for you, someone like Yuboto. Okay. Let's presume that you've got the platforms available to you to communicate in a rich and vibrant way and engage your customers. So, how do you actually then get this conversion? You know, what is that in itself it? Okay, you know, you're serving me stuff that I like. It's in a nice format. So, do I then make my transactions because of that? Well, without becoming a sort of futurologist, so technology is great. So, when we had the first mobile internet, I think it was called WAP, and this was going to be, wow, you know, we're taking your mobile, you can, you know, surf the web when you're on your phone.
With the Nokia 9001, WAPing.
And then, you know, okay, we got apps, and apps were okay, but there were so many of them and we didn't use them. So, if I was going to look to the future, so the idea of the Holy Grail that Andreas said, so, you know, you have this Android phone that offers you everything that you need, you don't need messaging, social media apps, it's all on there. It's getting rid of the apps. But even so, what then is going to make that conversion? So I would say that what you then need to move into is a world of conversations, and it's the idea of conversational commerce, where you aren't selling something, you aren't pushing something out that you might need or might not need, but it's relevant to you. You know, I won't send you makeup, but, you know, I'll send you other stuff that I know you like, but you still might not want it. So you enter a conversation, you start a conversation, you engage in a conversation, you respond to your customers. You have chatbots that are set up that can respond immediately. So I'm not sending an email or a text or a message at, 12 at night and not hearing back for another day. It's coming back in. There's a session, there's a chat, there's a relationship. Within these chatbots, if you then have suggested replies, like I think was on the video that Andreas showed, where you can make a booking. Okay, well, I want to change that seat. Okay, well, you've changed your seat, that's great. Actually, I want the vegetarian meal. Okay, that's done for you. Is there anything else you'd like? Creating that relationship with your customers. So the whole idea of conversational commerce, conversational marketing, I think that's maybe where we go to when we've got everything else in place.
Okay, thank you for that. No, not you. No, kidding. Please, Jose.
I would like to mention two very simple examples, use cases. One extremely simple, the other a bit more sophisticated probably, which is not related to having an omnichannel solution. I think a lot of the effectiveness, a high level of the effectiveness comes down to have good ideas, creativity, when it comes to engage with the customer. I would like to mention one. I don't know if you have it in Greece. Do you have payment reminders via SMS?
No.
Have you seen? No? Wow.
We're not that
Payment
much
reminders by SMS is a bomb. Is a bomb. I have seen it in Mexico. So the consumers were receiving payment reminders when they're overdue paying the installments. Yeah. So when they bought a TV, something a bit more expensive, and they reduced the overdue payments by 65%. Amazing results. I have seen it in Serbia, so it's about payment of fines related to traffic violations. They introduce it as a pilot. Again, super, super effective. Is something so simple to implement, because you can give all the details. This is the amount that is overdue, this is the invoice, it was overdue yesterday, or you can even say it will be due in 5 days. So they already get hands-on and do the payment. Wonderful use case. You don't need Omni-Channel for that. It's just an idea, and a very simple one. Another one, actually, Maria Russo, who is sitting here, we had a discussion exactly 1 year ago. We were attending the same event, and I was presenting. I had the honor at an Orange event. And we were discussing, because we have sons more or less in the same age. I don't know, 15 is mine. So they are both players of...
He's going in the wrong direction, right?
Back then, the most popular game worldwide, which is called Fortnite. And Fortnite, as many, many popular games, they have the idea to increase the level of security, to introduce authentication mechanisms to the players. And what they did is to provide an incentive to the gamers. So say, if you register for two-factor authentication, you will get an extra character. So this is an extra character you can play with.
It's a bonus.
It was wonderful. I mean, before I asked my son, if he could do that, he had already done it. And Maria, for her, it was new. She managed, to convince probably her son. At the end, he did it too. So I think this is also another wonderful use case that doesn't take much. It's about providing an incentive for adding an extra layer of security. Yeah. So, and this is my contribution here to tangible examples that don't require an omni-channel strategy.
Okay. Stay with you. I'm going to stay with you, Jose, because you're insulting my audience anyway already. So,
Maria, you're not going to say that you are still 20, okay? Because he gave you a...
Boof. Anyway, 15. I just heard 15. 1-5. So congratulations.
We love you anyway, you know that.
You're a strong woman anyway, right?
Young,
Ladies and gentlemen, Maria! You asked for it. Anyway, Jose, just to stay with you. Scoping a little bit the future, and not going into the Holy Grail, but more scoping the future. Give us 10 seconds of your time without insulting my audience again. But tell me, give me some famous last words.
Yeah, I mean, put some thoughts on, I repeat myself, put some thoughts on gathering customer data. Big data, customer data analysis is king.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Gavin?
As a data analyst, I'm very glad to hear that. That's absolutely fantastic. Looking to the future, I would put my money on something like RCS becoming something that we all use within the not-too-distant future.
Okay, thank you. Xenia?
Well, I think that we also have to consider that the other side must want something. So we can always aim at higher conversion rates, but it can never be 100%. Okay. What I totally agree with you is that we need to be more conversational. Listen and speak, not just one way. And there will always be, when we have succeeded in finding somebody in the right moment and in the right mood, the zero moment of truth that somebody likes to say, and other cases that maybe he wants to buy or maybe he wants to respond, but he can do it later or some other point in time. That doesn't mean we have failed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Nickos?
I do have a single advice. So if you want to increase conversations in the future, you should bring Generation Z today in your company.
Okay. Hala? Andreas?
I'm going to... okay, we have the tools, we have the knowledge, we have everything, okay? I think that the most important thing for conversion, no matter if it's messaging or whatever, it's what Philip Kotler says.
Kotler,
he says,
the famous Kotler.
Give to your customer more than he is expecting. That means +1. And it's not so difficult to give +1, to give something beyond his expectation. If you succeed to do that, then the customer is going to be there for you for a long time.
Okay.
This is it. Panos Akeletopoulos going to say something? Yes.
And I was coming to you guys, I'm not forgetting about you, because I would want to ask you if you have any more questions for this lot.
Thank you. As I was following all this discussion, and as a part of Yuboto in the area of research development, we have, for example, at Yuboto during the last 5 or 6 years, tried to do something about engagement. We pinned down that the problem most campaigns have is the lack of context. Content is abundant. You can go to YouTube, for example, and see billions of videos. You can go to Spotify, you can go to, you name it, and you have immense amounts of content. What you don't have, and this applies also in the messaging world, is context. We developed a platform where people could communicate based on their moods. They could exchange videos or even, let's say, images that are custom to their mood in order to communicate with emojis or communicate with phrases from famous films or famous songs. 10 or 20 seconds duration. Unfortunately, the market was not ready for this, and we have stalled this effort, and probably we're going to
relaunch it.
To relaunch it.
Okay.
While we were doing this, we heard and we read that Microsoft is developing a mood, let's say a mood platform where they can, with some specific algorithms, understand and somehow put in practice in the market the mood of a user of a PC or of a mobile. Of course, Microsoft mobiles, such story. The thing is that what would be an El Dorado in messaging would be content in context. Context is very difficult, but is crucial. And I hope that we can do this sometime, and this could lead to more engagement, to better communication, and as Ms. Kourtoglou said, you could have all those 5 things, the something extra, the personalized. You are a family. You give to the user what they want to say, or to the brand, to the recipient of the message. You give it, and it's ready. It's ready for them. It's not only if you have, for example, a discount, or imagine that, let's say an example, for example, someone has a bad temper and insults
like
friend.
Me in the morning.
Like you in the morning.
Exactly, it's
and
the
you
best
want
example.
to apologize, but you don't want to be, let's say, banal, and you send a message to someone that is you, is funny and apologizing at the same time. Brands need to have something like this, to be a discount and funny and something like this. This is the context. It's personalized. I think Nickos mentioned the word personalized.
Exactly.
But it must be in context. Context is the new king.
Okay.
We were saying content is king.
Yeah.
I think context is king, and this will surface the next years. It's difficult, but it is crucial.
Well, like Kotler, you were saying that it's in the book we talk about the 5 Ps. We all remember, a long time ago, university. But we now have the double Cs: content and context. Okay, thank you. Yeah? I want to have another.
Okay, my question was for the closing of the conference, but anyway, I will tell it now. First of all, thank you for being here. It was a wonderful, not only a customer experience, but a wonderful experience to have you all here. So I would like to ask you, your 6 different personalities, your 6... Okay, 6. I'm talking to you too. Your 6 pioneers in your field. So I would like to ask you, because we're talking about personalizing messaging, what would you do, each of you personally, what message and approach would convince you to buy a product, to become a loyal client, even though you don't need that? I mean, your opinion separately counts for us. So we would like to know if you can do it.
Of course we can do it. We will take all the time for it. And thank you very much for your question.
Great question. What's going to motivate you personally? Do you want to start?
Jose, here it is. What are you missing? What do you want to see?
Let me explain. I give you a real life example. This is the best to understand. I bought 6 bottles of wine last year. You know, a specific wine region, specific grape, specific year, specific taste. So if the wine trader manages to present to me a wine next year with a similar taste, I will buy it. Convinced. That's it.
Okay.
Not saying more. You know, you can apply it to many different products and services, what I'm just saying.
Okay. Gavin, what are you missing? What do you want to see?
I am missing so much in my life, you wouldn't believe it. But before I answer that very quickly, to the gentleman sat next to you, you said you were developing a emotional content delivery system, and you stopped. And then you stopped doing it. Well, I get it going again because there's already companies out there and it's been monetized. So Tenor and Giphy. Tenor, which was recently bought up by Google. If you go to their site, you can see it. They do all this mapping of who's searching for what in the morning, you know, hungover, tired, happy Thursday drinks, whatever. And they're getting brands now to advertise in that. And Google bought them for a lot of hundreds of millions. And this is now going to be put into the keyboards that we use on the platforms that we use, Viber, RCS, WhatsApp, whatever. And it's there. And you can see branded emotional context emojis that companies are now paying for. And this is going to be a big, big, big market. In terms of what I need mostly stuff that I can't get and that I find it incredibly hard to get, which is priority services. So if you give me a ticket to go and see Liverpool, I'm yours.
Yeah. It's over. There you go. So reason enough to make sure it's relaunched and to make sure that Google rings the bell, right?
Panos, I think you have to talk with Gavin after that. It's never too late.
Thank you very much for your questions. But coming back from the lady in red, you know, remember this movie? So, what do you want to see, and what are you missing, and what do you want to see, or what do you want to get out of it?
I believe that it needs to be as personalized as possible in terms of how. I just put a question: how can technology make me feel that I'm being served by a human person? I mean, it can replace the interaction between somebody who sells something and somebody who buys something, and they are in a physical store. If we had a good salesperson, then they do understand the mood of the customer. They can understand the personality of the customer. I personally hate somebody who comes and says, that fits you very nice, and I can see in the mirror and I see that it doesn't fit me, and I understand that they just want to sell me something. I go away. I don't buy anything, even if I like it. So what we are really trying to reproduce with the means that we have is this kind of interaction. And I think we can do it because if we can understand the mood of somebody, then we can speak to them in the right timing, in the right context. I agree very much with you, because we might get the same message, and at one occasion in time we buy, and on another we don't buy because we are not in the mood. No, we are not. We are not. If we fluctuate our emotion frequency during the day, it goes up and down. And for happy people, the importance is to have a positive balance at the end of the day. But this is another story. Of course, I'm the same person, and if I am in a good mood, in a happy mood, in a positive mood, I buy the dress. If I'm not, I will not buy the dress. I will not even enter the shop. Whether it is an online shop or an offline shop, or it's a message or any type of moment. So there's always this mood kind of thing, and if we can find it, if we can know it beforehand, if we can understand it, it's one more step to creating a human contact using technology. And this is beautiful.
Thank you, Xenia. Nickos?
So if we forget the basic goods, I mean
Yes,
the spending we do for food, water, medicine, etc., people don't buy products, they buy stories. So speaking about myself, at some point of time I had seen a sneaker that had 250 euro. It's quite expensive. But the sales guy told me that this shoe was the first shoe Jordan wore in 1983. So it's Jordan 1, his first shoe, and I bought it somehow. Even I have 30 pairs of sneakers. I bought the story. I mean, this is all about, because big portion of the business is not necessity for the consumers. Big portion of the business, especially in our business in fashion, you can't sleep without buying anything today and tomorrow.
Correct.
So storytelling is key.
Okay. Andreas?
So I don't know if Dr. Freud has the ability to tell us how we can find the mood of the customer in order to send him the proper SMS and finally for him to buy the shoes or whatever. But I will answer direct to Elpida because I think it was a really very good question. No matter what is my mood, and the people you know me, they know that my mood is going up and down all the time.
Yes, we know.
If I receive or if I see something that gives me happiness, I'm acting immediately. So for me, happiness, it's the key. A nice happy advert, a nice message, a nice picture in a magazine, something to give me happiness. Happiness activates me and motivates me. Thank you, Elpida.
So thank you for your question. Is it answered? It is? Yeah? Do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions? No? Then I want to wrap it up, actually. And before I give the microphone back to Teresa, I would like to thank Xenia. Thank you so much. Thank you for educating us to come back to actually basics. Love and the wow factor. Nickos, thank you very much. I think we understood even more actually about Omnichannel and exactly the real life experience with some nice hyper examples. Thank you so much. Gavin, always good to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your analysis and super thank you. Jose, as some people call him the guru and some people call him the shepherd. But he's Jose and he knows, and thank you for that. Andreas, my honorable thanks to you and to Yuboto. Thank you very much. Where's Apostolis? Apostolis. He's already at the bar. Apostolis. Thank you so much, my friend. And can we thank the Yuboto team, please? For a fantastic first BMC Business Message Conference. If I don't see you soon, I will see you next year because they promised me that they will do it again. And we're gonna, and with your support and with everything you can bring to the table, please come, be there. We love you, Yuboto. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Let's hit the bar. But before that, Peter, I think you still have to say something about logistics, maybe about what's going on now and what will happen. And from my side, guys, I thank you so much. And again, panel and Yuboto, thank you.
Okay, that was it. We've reached the end. We hope that you really enjoyed being here. We hope that you really gained valuable insights and knowledge so you can make much more actionable business messaging strategies to your brands and businesses. I'd like to personally thank all the speakers for being here and each and every one of you for participating in this first business messaging conference in Athens. Hope to see you again next year. Thanks.